Excuse me. I don't have a cold, I don't have a flu. It's just, you know, something tickling my nose. Which is funny because I eat, most of you guys know that I'm like totally pregnant. Oh, big belly here. And I am more susceptible to colds and flus when I'm pregnant, which is so annoying. But anyway, so in this video, we're gonna cover what we do to prevent the cold and flu, and then I'll make another video on what we do if we catch the cold or flu. Thankfully, when we don't catch a cold or flu very often, I think it's probably a combination of things. One of the things is my kids don't go to school. I homeschool them, so they aren't exposed to a lot of illnesses. They do get exposed oftentimes when we go to church or we go to parties or something like that. When we do get sick, which still isn't super often, my kids don't stay sick very long. Like literally, I've had, you know, my kids have a straight like fever and everything and last like a half a day. That's happened with a couple of my kids, but usually they don't stay sick very long. I contribute it to a few different things. The top two things that I contribute that to is, one, during flu and cold season, we really make it a point to avoid sugar. Not just refined sugar, but even to really reduce our intake of unrefined sweeteners. Sweeteners are an immunosuppressant. During flu season, cold season, we really try to just do whatever we can to boost our immune system and to keep from suppressing our immune system. And sugar is really a big one. It actually competes with viruses and bacteria. When your white blood cells are, you know, looking around your body to kind of to take care of, destroy, you know, get rid of viruses and bacteria, you know, it's almost like little Pac-Man. They're eating the bacteria and the viruses. Well, if you introduce sweeteners, sugars, and these things to your body, the white blood cells get a little distracted and they start going after the sugar. So it kind of competes with the viruses and the bacteria in that way. So instead of taking care of the viruses and bacteria, it's going around and eating all the extra sugar that we've consumed. So it's an immunosuppressant, and we try during cold and flu season to avoid taking in a lot of sweeteners. We don't generally like taking cakes and candies, and another big one is juice. I mean, juice, you can drink down 30, 40, 50 grams of sugar literally in a few seconds. And so that's a really easy way to cut down on sugar and sweeteners, even if it's natural, like there's no added sugar. You know, cutting out the juice makes a big difference because kids love juice and soda, and there's no fiber or anything in there to slow the sugar down from being absorbed into your system. So if they want something sweet, like if my kids want apple juice, I'd rather them have apples. If they want orange juice, have oranges, because at least you have the fiber in there and you have a lot less sugar, because it takes so many apples or oranges to make a glass of juice. So anyway, another huge thing that I think is super important when it comes to keeping your immune system like working top notch during flu season is getting rest. When we don't get enough sleep, like even if it's not cold or flu season, 3 consecutive days of not getting good rest, I usually just start feeling sick. I'm just like, oh, I feel sick. I think I just need rest. And our body really needs that time to recover and recoup. My husband and I try to get to bed like around 9:30, before 10 o'clock. We get our kids to bed, like we start, you know, winding down for the day like 7:30 and try to have them in bed by 8 o'clock. But it's super important for keeping the immune system really working well. So those are my top 2 things, is sleep and, you know, reducing the intake of sweeteners. Other things that we do on a regular basis, not just cold and flu season, that I think really helps, is that we do take 2 supplements. I'm not huge on supplements, but as a fully plant-based eater, we do take vitamin B12 and vitamin D, and both of those things boost the immune system, and I think do contribute to why we're less susceptible to colds and flus and have a shorter duration of an illness if we do catch one. In the description below, I'll leave the exact supplements that we take, because my husband was found to be deficient in both vitamin D and vitamin B12, and we started supplementing him with the ones that we have in the description below. And in his consecutive visits, those levels did rise to adequate levels, so we do know that they worked for him. One thing that we take for granted, and I don't really think of it as, you know, a way that we're boosting our immune system and reducing our risk for cold and flus, but we are plant-based. Just being plant-based actually boosts the immune system because you have more fiber, and fiber actually boosts the immune system. Another thing is that we consume less fat, especially like less saturated fat. Those things are an immunosuppressant and do compete with the body's ability, the white blood cells' ability to really get rid of viruses and bacteria. So just being plant-based will boost the immune system as well. The last thing I would say is if we feel like something is coming down, like if we feel that little tickle in the throat, one of the big things that we do is a hot cold shower. Maybe I should do a whole video on the hot cold shower, but with the hot cold shower, it boosts the immune system right there in that moment when you take it. But we basically go in the shower for 3 minutes and we take it as hot as we can for 3 minutes, and then we do 30 seconds of cold. And that is a shocker, but it gets the circulation really going and sometimes can just kind of keep off a cold or a flu. And that's something that we do. There's other hydrotherapy methods. We don't do them as often, but that's one that we do to help prevent cold and flu. And it's just my husband and I and my oldest son that does that. My little ones, I don't ever just, you know, dunk them in the bath and do a hot cold on them. But I do other hydrotherapy methods on them if they do catch a cold. So we'll work on that for another video, and I hope these tips help. These are a lot of, you know, I get this question a lot, what we do, so I want to share that with you.